And today we're talking about a very cool clip from the Ramsey team and financial YouTuber Graham Stephan. Now, there's a lot here.
All right, so as we've been talking, I mean, you've had, a lot of just blessing, man. Things have gone your way. You've worked hard, though, for those things to go your way. I asked you about doubt earlier. You didn't have to deal with that. You created some great mindsets by kind of reading the giants and not allowing yourself to kind of stay stuck in this, merry-go-round of negative thoughts. I'm just curious, what are your challenges in your business? What are some challenges that you've had to overcome and they kind of keep popping up? Anything?
Yeah, I would definitely say right now the YouTube finance space, I think, is overly saturated. I think it's a competitive industry today.
Yeah.
I can't see a future where it exists in the same capacity that it does. And I'm trying to think, how can I make this sustainable for just in general?
The interesting thing is he says the YouTube finance space is oversaturated. Now, I watch a good amount of finance stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he means by that.
Yeah, I don't either.
And what he's going to define what he means by that here in a second. But what happens when you get into a niche that's oversaturated? Right? And what does constitute as oversaturated?
Yeah.
Or is it the type of content that YouTube prefers, which is frequency of content, new, fresh content? That's the barometer they look at. He's just not good at making enough of that, or the niche doesn't serve that content. Unless you have a rinse and repeat model like the Ramsey people,
Yep.
it doesn't really serve that model very well. Because if you think about Meet Kevin, it's frequency. Him, the other guy, and then Ramsey, and then I don't know what other finance niche channels you watch that are over 1 million subscribers.
Caleb
right?
Hammer is a big one. That's probably the opposite of what you're talking about, but it's a really good show structure.
Yeah, How Money Works is another one,
Yeah.
but that's totally different. So I don't know if oversaturated is accurate as much as him also getting enthralled in some controversy with the FTX thing.
FTX, yeah.
Right. So I was like, I don't know if it's oversaturated as much as it's not conducive to the type of advice. The content is not conducive to the type of format that works on YouTube. Unless you have a rinse and repeat model. Who's the new gentleman? Is that who we're talking
Caleb
about?
Hammer.
Caleb Hammer
Yep.
has basically a variation of the Dave Ramsey show. He's in Austin, Texas, right? He sits down with people. He goes over their financial situation and kind of roasts them.
Yeah.
Right? It's genius format.
Yeah.
So is this space oversaturated, first and foremost? Do you think financial niche is oversaturated?
I mean, you could make an argument that the entire YouTube space is oversaturated.
I feel like the Christian space is oversaturated.
Yeah.
But we're just getting started.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's my point. Is that you can make a quitter's argument. I would call it that. A quitter's argument.
How are you calling Graham Stephan a quitter?
He might be, he may not be. But it's a quitter's argument to be like, oh, I can't get started because it's oversaturated, yada, yada, yada. It's like, I guess, but who's that serving? You already got millions of subscribers compared to the other people that are rising up right now. You have the most control to change your trajectory on YouTube.
Yes. It's a good point. Okay, so let's play the rest of this clip.
Words you're using, but when you say, I don't know if I see a future where it exists in its current capacity, what does that mean?
To remain innovative, you have to figure out what's the next thing.
Right.
And I've not found that. And so for me, I'm struggling thinking, in the beginning, I was very much, I felt like at the forefront of just ideas,
Without
creation.
question,
Now I feel like I'm behind. And I feel like other people are doing it better.
He says he feels like he's behind.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also because he's doing a lot of reactions of Caleb Hammer.
Graham Stephan is reacting to Caleb Hammer?
All the
time.
time.
Are we talking about the same Caleb Hammer? Are we talking about the guy that roasts people that you sent me?
Yep.
He has really good short form.
41-year-old lives with parents and refuses to work. Caleb Hammer. We got Millennial Burns, $10,000 per month. Caleb Hammer. That's the
And how big is Caleb Hammer now? Okay, so
Caleb
Hammer's
Hammer's got 420,000 subs.
Shout out to Caleb Hammer, man. Well, is Caleb Hammer that innovative, or does he just knows the greats and how to repackage it in the modern day format?
Yeah.
Something to think about. What is the Dave Ramsey show? It is a rinse and repeat format that the person they're talking to makes the content.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to a template of the same 4 or 5 answers, literally the same 6 baby steps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's infinite content because you're just walking people through your system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Caleb Hammer is stacking that format, except he's elevating it by adding it in person instead of over the phone. It's the Dave Ramsey show
Mixed with Kevin Samuels.
Is he doing something new, or is he, innovative? Innovation oftentimes is a combination of different other ingredients.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar is innovative Is he really though, or is he just a combination of Andre 3000, Lil Wayne, and Jay-Z? He's just a combination. And if you know, if you know,
Earth Gang is one of a kind.
who?
Earth Gang.
Please don't bring up Earth Gang ever again. If you know the mechanics of what you're watching, you've been around the space. And listening to Kendrick Lamar, I don't think it's that innovative. So when I see Caleb Hammer, I guess I'm not thinking it's that innovative because I see the format.
Yes.
Dave Ramsey meets Kevin Samuels. Kind of a genius in person. Kind of a genius format.
Yeah.
Is it groundbreaking innovation? No. It's good though. Like, don't knock the Caleb Hammer. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? And so I go, it's oversaturated. No, you just don't want to evolve.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
You got big and popping and comfortable, and you don't want to evolve. These are rich people problems.
Yes. Caleb Hammer it's a new show. A big YouTuber can create a new show anytime. Like, that's fairly easy. They got the bread. They have the built-in audience. They should be doing that. Like, that's a no-brainer. That's essentially what his podcast was. They just did it consistently, and because he had an audience already, it was good. It wasn't a groundbreaking podcast. It wasn't way cooler than all the other podcasts, which you could argue when it started it was a very oversaturated market.
Yep.
It's just like, I don't want to change the style of my content, and I want to edit this way. I want to do this, and I don't want to take any input. Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, so you said it earlier, like you said. Could you say a defeated mentality?
It's just that it's a quitter's problem or something like that.
He phrased it way better the first time around. But yeah, he almost seems defeated in this.
Yeah,
he almost seems defeated. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, it is a little sad.
And I would wonder how much of this is a byproduct of the FTX fallout, because I don't know if anyone's ever hated Graham Stephan.
Yes, he's always been the internet sweetheart.
Yes,
talking about credit cards and iced coffee.
Yep.
I'm at a point, I know, where I feel like sometimes I feel more burnt out than I have been at any other point. Less excited than I did 6 years ago doing YouTube videos.
What's driving that?
I think I felt like I've accomplished everything that I set out to do, and there's less challenge than I used to get. And
you're in a very interesting situation because the challenge isn't there, and I think that's what drives you.
Yeah.
But now, on top of that, you're doing a lot. So you get to a place where I'm losing the challenge.
Right.
It's not as exciting as it was. Let's just be honest. It's okay to say that. Yeah. You're not as challenged, and on top of that, you're tired. Yes. I got to tell you. I mean, that's not doom and gloom, but I mean, it feels like, I feel like there's something new and exciting that you'll have to come up with soon. I don't think you'll stay where you are.
Correct. So that's what a lot of people have been telling me, but trying to figure out what that next thing is.
Hey, thank you so much for subscribing to our newest YouTube channel, Mastermind My Business, the channel where you get access to information on how to create, how to grow, and how to learn. But I wanted to show you something kind of crazy. Over 71% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing, turning that bell notification on so you don't miss anything. All right? I appreciate you. Wow. What do you think about this?
It's like he just said, a lot of people have been telling me that, but I'm trying to figure out what the next thing is. And I just like, you have infinite resource. Just, you got to try something. You can't just not do something.
Well, here's the problem though, when you have infinite resources and you don't know what you want to try. I think there's a couple things at work. One, he's already really successful at something. Is he even in a position to humbly get input from new and innovative creators?
Yeah.
One. Two, there's no problems in his mind that he's personally trying to solve for because he's probably reached all of his goals. It's like Nick D saying, I've beat the video game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I keep playing a video game. I think Nick D is finding solace in having his proof of concept showed in other people. Right? So he's like excited about working with John Keith, excited about helping me get the music off the ground, and stepping into as a personality in the business space. If you've done everything and there's no new mountain to conquer, then you're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm stuck.
I have a hot take. But we'll get to it in a second of what that new mountain to conquer should be.
Well, listen to what his new mountain becomes. Listen to what he says other people are telling him to do.
Ooh.
I know the podcast is something I love, and I could see
Where do you think that's going? What are you trying to do differently there?
We're traveling, so just the fact that I'm here, it would have been extremely difficult a year ago today to do this because every single day, 8 to 12 hours, I was in my office making videos, and so I didn't give myself any time.
That's crazy
at all. I take half days on the weekends, but that's it. But traveling, you got to think that's a full day of travel.
Oh yeah.
I get back, I'm thrown off. Plus the time doing everything else. Like I wouldn't even be here. So now I'm taking time to travel, and I think learning from other people is something that I've not done enough of.
I called it. When you're the top G, top G,
When you're the top G.
you're not learning from other people.
Yeah.
You're not gleaming from other people, right? And so then there's this weird work-life imbalance where he doesn't want to hire people and he's spending 12-hour days editing videos that's like...
And we're talking about this off camera, is that like, it's cute that he's frugal with like his coffee and like that's the whole shtick online.
Sure.
But it's kind of sad when you hear it go further and further down into his practical daily living of like, now he's frugal with his life, with his time, and he's taking half days on weekends. It's like, you can take a full 2 days. You're okay.
Yeah.
Like, you got this. And it's not going to affect you that much.
Yeah. It reminds me of something that people in the education side do really well. I think of like Sean Cannell. What the business model there is with education. I don't know if Stephan is education or not. I guess he would be more education. So Sean sells education. He has education products. That's the bread and butter. AdSense is a very small revenue stream.
Yep.
And the folks in the education space are big on like scared money don't make money. You gotta hire people. You gotta invest more. You gotta create more systems. You gotta do more stuff to scale. But creatives aren't like that, right?
Yes.
And so because I think Graham is so creative and so hands-on with everything, he's probably not investing in the business side, building out systems, right? Proof of concept.
That's
like, he has the
interesting.
proof of concept.
Yeah.
So he's like more immersed in the content creation. It's like a Casey Neistat. He's more of a Casey Neistat than he is a media company.
So even though he's the money guy, it doesn't necessarily make him the entrepreneur guy.
Doesn't make you a good leader, doesn't make you a good business person.
Wow. That's heat.
Now that's given me the opportunity to do this. But I don't know. I know there's something else. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating to me because so far, I've always had the next thing lined up because it just happened organically. The podcast, like I said, I could easily do that another 10 to 15 years. I want to dedicate more time to that. In the big picture, what is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I
So I'm trying to
got a
figure that
feeling
out.
it's going to come out in some of these conversations you're having.
Maybe.
You're a learner.
Yeah.
You're insatiable.
Yeah.
And you start learning and seeing things. That's really fascinating to me.
It's tough for me because I want to do a business of some sort. I think of all these businesses that I could do, and I saw like we did a podcast over at the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
And I saw their operation. I thought, oh my, this would be perfect to get on other finance creators and bring them up to and build a whole media company around finance. And I think, is that really what I enjoy doing?
So when you don't know what the next thing is, or you're not constantly innovating, you start thinking about other business models as the logical scalability.
Yeah.
Right? So we've toyed around with the idea of, do we want to build a media company with a bunch of Christian influencers? I was like, do we really? I don't know if I really want to build the Christian Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm being fully honest. And so when you don't have vision of what the next season is, then you're spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
You're gleaming at other people and saying, oh, that's cool. I could do that. Because you don't really know how you can innovate in the current season that you're in. And I think most of us are susceptible to do that because it just becomes the logical conclusion, right? So if we think about how we scale, we could do that. We can go build the Christian Daily Wire and like build up the Ruslan, build the Blessed God Studios channel so that it's like No Jumper with a bunch of different personalities and other shows and right?
Yeah.
But is that what we want to do? Is that actually build an app, build the infrastructure, build a website, is that what I actually want to do? I don't know.
It?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Oh,
Or do I want to partner with someone that wants to do that? Because that's a big difference. Do I want to be the tech guy? Do I want to be the venture capital guy? Or do I want to partner with someone that wants to be, that's already that guy?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And so I think you'll naturally slide into things that you maybe not even want to do because it just kind of makes sense as the next logical step. We've been toying in the idea of scaling the merch. That's our lowest revenue generating, the lowest margin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The highest investment. I guess, what do we do? How do we scale? I guess we could start a merch arm of our business and buy our own embroidery and silkscreen machines.
And be distracted for 12 months.
Right. And then invest and then let other people bring their merch to us and fulfill other people. It's like, that just became a whole nother headache because we saw someone else do something similar and they're fulfilling, KB and Native.
Yeah.
And so then you don't have vision. You're just doing things that just could make sense instead of knowing what you actually want to do.
At one point, we almost pivoted to, not pivoted, but added on we'll build out your YouTube studio.
Right.
And then we thought about that and we're like, we don't want to be the YouTube plumbers. You just pull up with all the equipment and a white van with your plumbing logo on it and you plug it all in.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of things that sound cool and fun, but are just an L.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he's exploring this and he's coming to these conclusions. Listen to the next thing he says, which we've actually said before, or somebody suggested it to us. Literally, someone suggested something similar to us. Go ahead.
And I think, I could build a business around doing shorts content, because I think that's the direction that we're going online, is 60-second clips. No one's really doing that, but imagine I build a business around other creators and just do their shorts and build a team around that. We could get really good at. Do I really enjoy that?
And who's that? Who's doing that right now? Do you know who's doing that right now? Ryan Panetta is building a business, an agency for shorts content.
Yeah.
You guys should be the guys that go and build people's YouTube studio, but it would be great if you can be the agency and make all their content.
Yeah.
And now we've taken our hand off of our own content to go and do something for someone else because of opportunity. Guys, forgive me if this is like kind of advanced level talk, but these are the temptations that get, and by temptations, I don't mean like sinful.
Yeah.
I mean just sinful for you and not and outside of the vision of what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if we would have went down the route and with the goal of trying to get to a 7-figure business, and so we just became the YouTube plumbers and started an agency.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It would be awful.
Yeah.
It would be terrible.
It'd be really bad. Well, because you would also be required to do, for the next year, to do another 7 figures. You'd be required to do the same thing. And I always think about this, like, all right, and especially for someone starting a side hustle, right? If we're going to bring it really low, is that like, there's all these different side hustles people can do.
Sure.
And you can make X amount a month, whatever, doing them. But sometimes you don't, like, you have to like think about the logical conclusion. What happens if you're actually successful doing that thing?
Yeah.
Can you keep doing that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we work 100-hour weeks to grow the business to 7 figures. It's like, well, it might require another 100-hour weeks to do another 7 figures.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so the solution isn't let's work 100-hour weeks and then solve for that problem later. It's like the solution is like, okay, how do we do 4-day work weeks?
Yep.
Still hit that goal. It might be harder, it might take more finesse, more systems, all that.
Yep.
But when the business gets to that point, we just figured out how to generate a 7-figure business with 4-day work weeks, and it's infinitely scalable in a sense of like, we can do it again with 4-day work weeks.
Yep. And the stuff we're doing right now is the stuff we would be doing anyway. We were sitting here earlier. I came across an Instagram video. I showed it to you guys, and I said, you know what? Let's just hit record.
Yeah.
And me and Ray did a whole video that we just recorded right on the spot of a conversation we were really just starting.
Yes.
That is totally different than let's drive to Orange County and build some wealthy dudes YouTube studio because Facebook algorithm changed and you can't get cheap ads anymore. And so therefore everybody wants organic reach. And we're the guys that step in and help you get popping on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a totally different business model.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of business models out there. And there's someone out there that is doing that right now that's probably super passionate about it. You know? So anyway, go ahead.
So it's got to be something that I could just I would do for free.
Yeah. Well, I tell you where it's going to be. It's going to be at the intersection of those 3 things we talked about. What you do best, what you love to do, and what motivates you. Yeah. And what's interesting about you is the element of creation combined with instruction. Yeah. You really love sharing your take on things. Do you find that you'll always want to do that?
I don't know.
You get a little juice doing that, though, don't you?
Sometimes, but now I found myself just being a little bit more private. Like I have been, I don't know, more like reserved.
That FTX scandal backlash.
He doesn't want to share his opinion as much.
He got the wind knocked out of his sails with that joint.
Because is he a part of that lawsuit, the $1 billion lawsuit?
Yes.
He's a part of that lawsuit?
I'm pretty sure. Absolutely.
Sheesh. That'll do it to you.
Yeah.
That'll do it to you.
Oh yeah. He got ratioed in the internet sense. But with his whole channel, like, or just with his reputation. And now he's sitting there like, I don't even know, like, who am I to share my opinion?
Yep.
It's like, oof.
Well, because much of financial advice is speculation.
Yeah.
Or rinse and repeat. Live on less than what you make. Get on a budget. Get out of debt. Save up 6 months. And so unless you have a human here that is the part of the entertainment, again, Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right? How do you make that kind of content?
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.